friends, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube channel. This is Gina. I feel like I am flying today without a net on a trapeze because we are going to do my side-by-side double stroller twins comparison video. So I've been talking about this for a long time, but I'm really excited to help you today, especially if you're an expectant parent for two, not really sure what to do about the side-by-side double stroller. We're going to talk about 4 fabulous options today. And so what we're going to go over is the Bugaboo Donkey. We're going to go over the Bumbleride Indie Twin, or Twindy as I call it, the ValcoBaby Trend Duo, and also the Buggy Duet. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, my friends said all these other double strollers and not those 4. The reason why I'm concentrating specifically on these 4 is these 4 are suitable from newborn, meaning we could come home from the hospital without buying extra stuff and put new babies directly into any one of those 4 strollers without additional purchases. So that's one reason. The other reason is they are side by side, which I feel is more equalizing and a million times easier to push when you actually have a lot of weight. So I'm a huge proponent of a side by side double stroller instead of a tandem. If you haven't figured that out by now, now you know I'm announcing my allegiance. And these strollers will also take 2 infant car seats or 2 bassinets simultaneously. So yes, all of these strollers can be used for kids of different ages, meaning a newborn and an older child, but we're gonna focus today exclusively on the specialness of these for kids of the same age or roughly super close ages. Okay, let's launch right in. So, as you can see, I have got them all lined up here. What I'm gonna say is I do have them in order of ascending price. So I do have a cheat sheet. I'm gonna need it. We're talking about a ton of information, so let's dig in. The Buggy Duet, which is this guy right here, this is by far the narrowest of the options. So what's really fascinating about that is even though it's the narrowest, you're not giving up a lot in terms of seat space. So the Bugaboo Donkey, which is the most expensive on the end, that one is 4 inches wider, and it actually has a narrower seat than what we're dealing with here. And we'll talk about that in 1 second, but something to be aware of. And just to show the folks at home, I am not making this up. They make this claim endlessly with this duet from Buggy that it is the narrowest. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around my Valco and the Buggy, and you will see here, hopefully you guys can see, the Buggy has a frame that recesses the wheels to sit evenly with the handlebar. So instead of the handle being wide and then the wheels popping out to either side of the handle, we have a recessed frame with the wheels sitting inward. So Buggy's really exciting thing about their product is going to be that they offer the narrowest double side-by-side stroller. It's also the most cost-effective out of the group. So let's talk about prices really briefly. The Buggy is going to be, the Duet is going to be $679. Our ValcoBaby Trend Duo, which is this guy here, this is $750. The Indie Twin is going to clock in at $949, and the the Bugaboo, our most expensive one on the high end of the spectrum, is going to be $1,089. Now, there is a reason why it is more expensive. It includes more stuff. So we're going to save Bugaboo for last, just because these 3 are the most similar, and then Bugaboo is sort of our outlier. So again, Buggy, narrowest, 25.5 inches wide. It can be 41 to 43 inches tall. There's a whole host of different handle height settings. I think their lowest they were saying was like 32 or something like that. It's probably even shorter. But as you can see, we do have a very low handle height here. The folded dimensions are 12 deep, 25 wide, and 35 high. So something to keep in mind. All of these strollers can stand and fold on their own. I'm gonna see if I'm able to do that and show that for you guys. This one includes the front bar, the grab bar, which is really nice. The fold here is theoretically one-handed, so it folds up and then it is self-standing. The weight on this one is going to be 32 pounds, so of the 4, it's actually second lightest. It also has air tires, so you're noticing that the tires for this guy are all air inflatable. Really a nice choice for multiple terrains in the city, that kind of thing. So what's unique about this one is that if you wanted to do 2 bassinets with it, you can buy their double carry cot. That's what it's called. I'm gonna have to put my cheat sheet down for this. Their double carry cot includes this really cool 2-kid seating parent face feature. So it's a carry cot that holds 2 kids simultaneously. It is conjoined. It's a little unusual looking, but then you stop using it and then you have these seats that parent face that recline together, and they share the same sun hood, and those hold 33 pounds per seat. Each one of these seats is going to hold 40 pounds. So it is the lowest weight capacity in terms of the seats out of all the ones we're looking at. Everyone else hits 45 or 50, so this is more unusual, atypical, that it is 40 pounds per seat. Now, the basket underneath is pretty generous. It does have a fair amount of like zippered storage pockets there. As you can see, it's a standard brake here, but we also have a hand brake, which none of the other ones have. This is gonna be good for going down a hill, especially with 2 bigger, heavier kids. If you wanted to slow it for a downward push or pull, you'd be able to do that. So that's a really nice feature. The seat is gonna be, let's talk about the seat dimensions. 22 high with the backrest, 11 inches wide, 7.5 inches deep. And one thing that is kind of cool is they do have this foot articulation bar in the seat. So this little guy can fold down, or as you can see, it can come out for a little bit more support. It's not a ton, but it is something. And you can buy a car seat adapter that'll work for this guy for 2 Nuna car seats. That cost, the cost for the 2 carry cots plus the 2 parent-facing seats is $279. The car seat double adapter is $70. If you wanted just a single adapter, it's $30. They do have, what they show here is a 3-year warranty on it. If you are willing to pay extra, if you register it online, it's a 2-year warranty, but it does have a standard 1-year warranty. One thing I will say about this one that probably is the poorest out of the 3 is the canopy height clearance. You see here, once kiddo hits the top of the canopy, we don't really get a ton of canopy height clearance. But if you wanted to see the dual carry cot or the car seat adapters on any one of these, you're gonna have to go to my individual videos of them because it is too crazy to sit around and try and play Ring Around the Rosie and switch them around for you guys. The biggest thing was going to be show them all folded next to each other and talk about the weights and the heights and that type of thing. So that's what we're doing, and pricing. Okay, so this guy is available in 3 colors, black, this gray, and then this kind of grid color. So you've got some good choices there. Mountain Buggy is going to be way harder to find. Their US distribution is lacking, but this is a brand I've sold for 20 years. I had one of these for my nephew, a single stroller. The weird thing about the single is it's as wide as this double. It doesn't seem like it, but honest to God, if narrowness is important to you, this would be the winner for sure. The push is excellent. And again, here when we do 2 car seats, they're staggered, so it absolutely will fit through a standard doorway with both car seats on it simultaneously, or the bassinet on it simultaneously. Now, coming to this stroller, this is the ValcoBaby Trend Duo. This is an awesome option. These are all gonna recline deeply enough for a newborn, so I'm just gonna point that out right now. I will say too that Mountain Buggy, the Duet, when we recline it, it's more annoying. The way that the pieces work for the recline and the sit-up on the Mountain Buggy are by far the most annoying of all of them, because it does require 2 hands. So again, if we're dealing with twins and things that we're doing 8,000 times a day, I don't know if that would necessarily be my favorite thing about it. And as you'll notice here too, the back doesn't really have ventilation. So this piece is not separatable from the rest of it. That's gonna be atypical. You do have a little peekaboo window on top. It's magnet, but it is small and it is not as ventilated as some of the other brands are going to be. So Valco is an awesome, okay, so Mountain Buggy's from New Zealand, Valco is Australian, Bumbleride is also Australian, so we've got a lot of good international design going here, and Bugaboo is Dutch. So really, all of these are non-American design, which is kind of fabulous, just different and interesting. So ValcoBaby, this one's $750. Another cool feature of this guy is if you wanted rubber tires, these tires that are on it are a EVA foam, so you never have to fill them. But if you wanted rubber tires, they do sell an all-terrain tire set separately. I think it's $150. So if you wanted more outdoorsy, you could make it more outdoorsy, more indoorsy. This is super lightweight. So this stroller is 26 pounds. Some online were saying 24 pounds. I feel with all this stuff on it, it's probably closer to 26. The other thing that I think this guy takes the cake versus almost all the other ones is in the price range that it clocks in, you get the most value for dollar in terms of every single feature. So yeah, it's 29 inches wide. You can buy 2 car seat adapters. I will argue that the car seat adaptation on this one, not my favorite. It's a universal adapter and a Nuna adapter. They are staggered, so again, you can push it through a standard doorway, but the car seat adapters here are definitely clumsy. Car seat adapters on mountain buggy also not ideal, a little bit clumsy, but easier than Valco in some respects and feels more secure in some respects, but both as far as car seats go, again, watch the individual videos if you're curious how that looks, because it is kind of a bit of a rigmarole to set them up. But just as the seats themselves, where Valco is really going to excel, we've got the greatest canopy height clearance out of all of them. So whatever the backrest is of a seat, that's great, but how big can a kid be when they're actually sitting in here? This one's going to be quite high. I'll give you the dimensions in a second. The other thing that I absolutely adore about this is going to be this insane sun coverage. My nephews are redheads, so this is super critical for me that we would be able to get that huge sun coverage. Even as they got bigger, we still get the little mesh ventilated window. I prefer a mesh peekaboo window. If we're gonna have it, I like for there to be airflow going through. And then on the back here, we would get pockets on each canopy hood, which is great, but also that ventilation that I was talking about. So on both sides, we're gonna be able to roll up this piece and then go ahead and toggle it to itself if we want ventilation. The other thing that's nice about this that's different than, like, let's say the mountain buggy we just looked at is, ooh, this one's way easier to sit the seat up as well. You're also able to get a very upright, like almost 90-degree seat position here, as well as a really, really nice articulating foot plate. So again, with mountain buggy, there's that little goofy wire in there. Valco, this is way more respectable in my opinion, where you have this very solid foot plate for a bigger, heavier, older kid. Not every little kid is tiny. Not every set of twins is small. Some kids are actually quite large, and this seat is, I feel, more accommodating for larger kiddos. Front bars are individual on this guy. So that was gonna be one of the features that I thought was really nice, especially for 2 children. With a lot of them, it's one bar that goes across the front, and so when you open one, it affects both kiddos. This is very, very individualized. So when your kids get into that phase where they want everything on their own and not like their brother or sister, you're gonna be able to do that. Here, to fold, it is one-handed. So all of these guys do have a one-handed fold, which is pretty fabulous. This one will fold down. It stands on its own. Super lightweight, self-locking, 26 pounds. The maximum for each seat is 45 pounds, and the basket, it said, tops out at 11 pounds. For the other models, if they didn't have basket information, I wasn't able to find it. So we only have basket information on 2 out of the 4 here today, but I'll hopefully get more for you guys. Again, the 26 pounds also has shoulder strap included on it, so that's pretty sweet. 3 color choices, gray, black, or a denim. And as I said, you could get 2 bassinets for this if you wanted. It can accommodate 2 bassinets parent facing simultaneously. It can also take 2 car seats. Again, car seats kind of sloppy on this. It works, but not my favorite. Your car seat adapter for Valco for the 2 is $105. Just for one side would be $45. And the warranty on it, I believe, is 1 year. Seat dimensions, 11.5 inches wide. So a wide seat. You also get a 19-inch backrest, 8.5 inches here. This dimension here is going to be 8.2. So it's quite accommodating. And then again, for bigger kiddos, this can come all the way down. We still have a place to put our heels for later on, which is really critical. Each bassinet's going to run you $225. So if you wanted bassinets here, that would be an additional $450. So something to keep in mind. Our open dimensions are 29 inches wide, 37.5 inches deep, and it can be up to 43.5 inches high for our tallest handle height. Our shortest isn't super short, so it's coming up here to about my waist. I'd say that's probably 40 or 41. Folded dimensions, it is 29 wide, obviously, 27 inches, almost 28 inches high, and 15 inches deep. So we saw it folded. I can refold it at the end. Each seat holds 45 pounds. Again, starts from a newborn Overall weight is 26 pounds. And the warranty here is theoretically 1 year. It may be longer. Again, if you register it online, sometimes these brands will give you a longer warranty, but just something to be aware of. And again, any of these brands are super professional. If you have a defect and you take it to the store where you bought it, because I'm sure you didn't buy it online from Amazon, I'm sure you took the time to go into a local store and purchase it from a local retailer, they would absolutely stand behind their product 100%. And that is the benefit of shopping locally and not just sitting on your butt and buying it online. Now, if you can't get out to a local store, totally understand. But just, I'm always going to plug my local Brixie stores in particular, because I'm part of Brixie. So we love our brick and mortar baby stores. Now, a special thank you to Bumbleride, Sarah, my girl at Bumbleride. She's the queen of Bumbleride. She's my Australian friend. And I do love this Indie Twin. This was the reason I had to wait so long to make this video, because this was coming. Bumbleride is a totally bespoke stroller company. So we talk about a lot of these other brands. They're made in factories with other stroller brands. Bumbleride is made all by themselves. They're in their own factory. They own it. They work with really, really specific contractors. They are super green. Everything on what they do is recyclable. They have information on their website how to recycle every single part of their stroller. So if an ethical decision about the environment is a thing that motivates you when you make your purchase, I could not stand more happily behind Bumbleride for you to make that decision. The other thing, again, with this guy that's great, like the Valco, is gonna be, it's gonna be more accommodating for bigger kids. Now, this guy also has all air inflatable tires. That's gonna be similar to Mountain Buggy, but it is a 12-inch tire all the way around. So this is the most outdoor friendly of the strollers that we're looking at right out of the box. You also have excellent suspension. And then our basket, I'm going to argue the basket here might be the best because it's just the most open and easiest to get to. We also have a flip-flop friendly brake. I do have a flip-flop friendly brake on the Valco as well. I didn't demonstrate it, but it is more flip-flop friendly than the Mountain Buggy, which is probably the least flip-flop friendly. New for this year, the handlebar is cork, so that is more eco-friendly than rubber. Rubber not particularly friendly environmentally. And then we also have the articulating foot plate. So again, this is much more like Valco, not like Mountain Buggy, which I don't think is a particularly useful one. Yes, they can claim they have it, but you do get a true lie flat recline here. Another thing with Bumbleride that you get that's really good, similar to Valco, and again, I think being Australian and New Zealand with the heat, they're better at this. We have the ventilation on the back. We also have a huge ventilated peekaboo window on top of our enormous sunshade. So sunshades are massive on this model. We get the ventilation, we get the full recline, we get the foot articulation. One of the best for big kids. Seats hold 45 pounds per seat. The actual weight of this stroller is going to be 36 pounds. It is 29 inches wide, 47 inches deep, and it goes from as little as 26 inches down here all the way up to 45 and a half tall. It does stop at a variety of points there, but if you do like a handle short when you're walking, which I do, Bumbleride's one of the best for the short handle heights, and I love that on my Speed, which is their 3-wheel running stroller. Pretty fab. The other thing that's nice about this guy is that this one, similar to Valco, you're able to really push your seat up and get a full like 90-degree upright position, which kids really value. The other thing about this guy is going to be you do get the twin pockets on the back of each seat, which is quite nice. So this one is a two-handed fold, but it will self-stand, so we love that. And they've gotten rid of their front bars. So this product used to include front bars. Stupid. I think seat articulation, or excuse me, foot plate articulation is more important than front bars, because front bars can be added down the road when the kiddo wants a tray or something like that. We can always purchase that separately. Let's talk about the seat dimensions really briefly before I fold it. Seat dimensions are going to be 12 inches wide, so the widest for sure. Our knee drop is going to be 11 inches, so this is the longest from knee to footwell. We also have the 19-inch backrest and 9 inches for the seat depth. You get a pretty good canopy clearance. I'd argue like 23 inches of canopy clearance, so very good. Still not as good as what we get on the Valco, but again, no one's gonna touch that. That's gonna be probably the tallest canopy clearance out of all of them. So this guy a little bit wider, definitely good for long-legged kiddos, and still really nice and tall seat back, so we love that. Stroller weighs 36 pounds, cheat sheet holds 45. The bassinets for this, you can buy 2 parent-facing bassinets. Those are gonna be $249 a piece. And those will hold up to 19 pounds each, but again, it's a developmental thing. And if you wanted a car seat adapter, a dual car seat adapter here costs $99. It'll work with 2 Nuna car seats. Watch my video if you're curious to see how any of that works. And then we've got a 3-year warranty. So let's go ahead and fold this one up. It is a 2-handed fold. Locks together, I heard it click, and then you scoot the wheels around so it will stand. Now I'm gonna fold up these 3 guys here. And Valco, the flip-flop friendly brake, that way, right to brake, left to undo. So very easy. Again, and your fold-on Valco, pretty similar to the other guys. Now what I like about what I like about Valco and Bumbleride is when we fold the strollers, the seat fabric is tucked on the interior of the stroller. What I'm not fond on Mountain Buggy, aside from sitting the seat upright and needing 2 idiot hands, and I did read all of the complaints online about this. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but when I put a weighted doll in here, it was actually very annoying. So I stand with the parents that complain. Thank you for your feedback. It's really helpful. So when we fold Mountain Buggy, again, still awesome product, but seat material remains exposed. And then your handle does have to be sort of specifically set in order for it to stand. Not the end of the world. And I don't have it the correct way. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. You could watch a lot of videos, but here you are watching mine. So it will self-stand. Again, you have to have the handle be super correct. And my floor here at the store is not particularly even. So I'm gonna stand it. Whew, can I stand it at all? Stand it on the crib here? All right, hopefully it doesn't fall. Now, Bugaboo Donkey, $2,000. Whoa, a lot. Why is it so much more expensive? If you notice right now, I have it set up with a bassinet and a stroller seat. When you buy the twin version of this stroller, it comes with 2 sets of frames, 2 bassinet fabrics, and 2 seat fabrics. So you can set it up with 2 bassinets simultaneously, a bassinet and a seat simultaneously, 2 seats simultaneously. It's parents' choice. So it's more expensive, but it's just going to include more. The other thing that is different about this stroller versus the other guys is that this one is modular. Those are not modular. We can take seats off and we can put stuff on the frame, but they don't have modular seating. Modular seating means the seat can click off the frame, turn around, and face caregivers. So I could have 2 big kids looking at me. They would never want to do that. Children don't generally want to look at you past 6 months. But again, grandparent, auntie, uncle, whomever doesn't see them as frequently might like the feature of both kids looking at you. And again, when they're in the bassinets, they're going to be looking at you. Bassinets are included in the purchase price. There is no way to get this without the bassinets, okay? So just so that we're clear about that. So you would have 2 bassinets from birth. That lays perfectly flat. When this guy goes flat, on the seat compartment, let me actually take off the bassinet to explain what I'm talking about. The bassinet is totally flat. The other thing about this bassinet that's different than the other guys is if you want, you can buy stands for the bassinets to make them sleep next to your bed. But you also need clips for the stands, and you want to make sure that you don't order the wrong one. So if you want to go to my website, I'm going to have this all set up for you guys so easy. You need a Donkey Runner bassinet stand, really, really convoluted. You also would need the bassinet stand itself. That would be $160 per stand with additional clips. So looking at $320 just for the stands, in addition to the $19 $88 or whatever it is for the twin setup. So it does get pricey, but again, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna buy all this crap and use it all together, I just wanna buy one thing, Donkey's gonna do that nicely, because these are overnight sleep certified. You could stick them right on the stand to go next to your bed or for travel. Okay, great. So more built in that way. But this is flat. This is perfectly flat for a newborn. Other cool features, very ventilated. So that's nice. None of the other bassinets for any of the other strollers are going to be this nice. This and like, this is really, really unique in terms of the ventilation and all the stuff that it can theoretically do. So it'll include the bassinets that can of course sit directly on the floor as well. But when you recline a donkey seat, yes, you paid $2,000 for this, but it doesn't have a lie flat recline. This recline has a dip always. The back and the backrest and the butt will tilt in space, but they don't lie flat. Yes, it's 180 degrees. That is technically flat, but it wouldn't be flat enough for a newborn to go directly into the seat material. They would have to lie flat in the bassinet, or they would have to have car seats on here. So it will work from birth, but it's just sort of to be aware of these differences between the other guys and this guy. So all the other guys out of the box, when you open it up and you lay the seat flat, you can put your newborn in it. Here you would have to set it up with the bassinets or do the dual car seat. You would not set it up with two seats for newborns. The seats are not appropriate for newborns. Once the kids outgrow the bassinet, you take all the fabric off that frame and then you put new fabric on the frame. Americans are generally disgusted and horrified at this, but this is a Dutch European product. In Europe, they don't care that it's an extra step. They think, oh, I live in a really, really crowded city. It probably benefits me living in London not to have two of these massive bassinets sitting in my flat, floating around when my children have outgrown them. So I would take the fabric and I would store it, and then I would use the frame with the new set of fabric. So again, this is just very different how Americans approach problem solving compared to the rest of the world. So, as I said, 2 bassinets, fabrics, 2 seat fabrics, all included in the purchase price. We can buy extra stuff separately if we want, and I'm not gonna put 2 seats on here because it's a ton of work, and my audience can watch the single video and they're smart enough to understand that we're gonna use this bassinet in lieu of the second seat, because you're bright enough to get it. My audience is so smart. Okay, so the seat articulates, it doesn't lie flat, that's okay. These are memory buttons, so you push one at a time and you can flip it around. But the big benefit of this guy as well is going to be that it's all able to be folded up independently. So, handle will come down. And the stroller can fold up and it can pack and stack in components directly into your vehicle. So that's going to be a really nice feature that this one has that the other ones won't offer. So as you can see, sort of standing here, they claim it's self-stands. I haven't been able to sort out the self-stand, but that's all right. We're going to open it back up, put the seat on it, and we'll talk about the weight of the product. It's the heaviest, as well as those seat dimensions. So the weight of it is going to be 40 pounds. It's 29 inches wide, 43 inches deep, and goes from 33 to 41 inches high for your handle height. The folded dimensions are 35 by 23 by 13.8. Again, because it can be a single or a double, we're not just gonna trust that. The seat dimensions, 10.5 inches wide, 19.5 high. It's an 8-inch drop from knee down to the foot, and then it's 9 inches deep. But there is no articulation on the foot plate. So that foot plate won't clip up and down. It is one position. Now, of course, when you recline it, it'll recline all together, but that foot plate isn't able to be adjusted like we're able to do on the other guys. Now, this one has the best basket. It will hold 22 pounds in terms of weight. So that's a very nice feature. And then 50 pounds per seat. So really nice. Car seat adapter, $100 for the double, 70 for the single, the most colors here. And the warranty on this guy is theoretically 4 years. So it is the longest warranty. Now, as I said, when we fold this up, it maybe folds with the seats on it. So you could have I believe, the 2 seats sitting on there and get it to collapse up all together for you. And maybe when the seats are on it, it's weighted in such a way that it will self-stand when it folds. Okay guys, I actually ran out of storage to be able to sum up my twins comparison video. So I'm gonna just sum it up for you right here. Let's go over some of the pricing, because some of the pricing, as I went back and watched it, I realized I wasn't super clear about. So let's be really clear about the pricing of the Bugaboo Donkey, the Valco Trend Duo, the Mountain Buggy Duet, and the Bumbleride Indie Twin, because those are the 4 that we are talking about. The most, and then this is like the best apples to apples price comparison breakdown that I was able to do kind of here today at the store. So hopefully this is useful for you. The Donkey is going to be the most expensive. To buy it with the twin setup, which is 2 frames with 2 bassinet fabrics and 2 seat fabrics, 2 canopy fabrics, and the chassis with the basket and the little side bag tote, that is going to be $1,989. If you wanted the double car seat adapter for it, that would be $99.95. If you wanted to purchase a cup holder, it would be $39.95. If you wanted trays, they are $59.95. And keep in mind, you would have 2 children, so that would require 2 trays. The stand, to be able to use your bassinets next to your bed, that is $124.95, but you need an adapter for that stand, which is $34.95. So everything that I talked about, if you did 2 bassinet stands, 2 of the adapters to go with the stands, 2 trays, a cup holder, a double adapter, you're looking at approximately $2,569 before tax. Now, Bumbleride, Stroller on its own, the Indie Twin, or the Twindy as I like to call it, Bumbleride is going to be $949. If you did 2 bassinets, they are $249 a piece. Those bassinets do not have stands, so there's no opportunity to compare that. There aren't trays available yet for it that I'm aware of. You could do 2 front bars, but I'm leaving that off there. So if you did the Stroller for $949, the bassinets, the 2 bassinets, car seat adapter is going to run you $99, and a cup holder parent pack would run you $49. You're looking at roughly $15.97. So this is in descending price. So Donkey, most expensive, $19.89, includes a ton. Bumbleride is going to not have the bassinets. That would be a separate purchase. Obviously, we talked about that, and that's going to be $949. Valco, that's the Trend Duo. That one's $749. Bassinets are $225. Car seat adapter is $105. Cup holder from them is $20. So your trays there, $40 a piece, so $80 for 2 trays. You're looking at a total of $1404. For that guy. Now, if you wanted the air tire pack, you wanted a separate set of air tires for that, that would run you $175. So then you're looking at around $1579 prior to tax. So the Bumbleride and the Valco actually come in relatively close if you buy that additional set of tires for the Valco. But again, the Valco has the trays, the Bumbleride, we didn't include that, so there are some differences there. Mountain Buggy Duet, by far the least expensive of our choices, $679. The bassinet, the duo conjoined bassinet with the 2 conjoined parent-facing seats, that's an additional $279. The car seat adapter for 2 kids is $70. I actually found front tray things that would work from it from JL Childress called the Food and Fun. Those are about 20 bucks a piece. So everything all in, I got around $1,028. So that is before tax. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I would have stacked them all next to each other to show you more, but I ran out of time, and then I had to send that Bumbleride back because that is the only one in the US currently. And again, thank you to all of the brands that participated. I am so appreciative, and a special thank you to Bumbleride, Sarah. I'm so appreciative that you were able to get me that Indie Twin to show my customers and to do this comparison for them. All right, guys, if you have questions or you have comments, leave them below. Please feel free to hit like. Please feel free to subscribe. If you want to buy any of these things, head on over to my website, destinationbabykids.com, and go ahead and purchase any of them in any color. If there's questions about adapters or what car seat works, hit me up on the chat window or go ahead and email into the store. I am happy to answer you the best that I can. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out my other videos. Again, I've got the videos of all of those strollers individual. So if you want to do the deeper dive and see them all set up in 9,000 different ways, feel free. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All right, thanks so much, and we will see you in our next video.